Germany, May 1945. The war was ending, but hunger was just starting. In a bombed village near the Elbe River, a young woman named Margaret Fisher knelt in the ruins of her family's bakery, looking for grains among broken bricks. Her hands shook, not from cold, but from weakness. She weighed only 78 pounds. When the American jeep drove into the square, dust rising behind it, she expected nothing good. Freedom meant disorder. Liberation meant empty stomachs. But then a sergeant got out, looked at her for a long time, and said 3 words that changed her life forever. Spring 1945 came to Germany without pity. Fields lay empty, cities burned, roads crowded with millions of lost people moving everywhere. Soldiers gave up, refugees ran, survivors searched. In this mess, hunger became the worst enemy, worse than any soldier. Margaret Fisher was 23. Before the war, she taught school in the small town of Torgau, about 40 miles northeast of Leipzig. Her father ran the town bakery for 30 years. Her mother gave piano lessons in their living room, looking over the Elbe. Her younger brother, Klaus, was drafted in 1943 and died at Stalingrad. The family never got over it. By April 1945, Torgau was empty. The bakery was taken by the Wehrmacht in 1944, then bombed by Allied planes in February 1945. Her father died of a heart attack in the cellar during the bombing. Her mother stopped eating and faded away in March, like a photo left in sunlight. Margaret was alone in a town that no longer existed, surrounded by ruins and the sound of guns coming closer. The Americans arrived on April 25th. She remembered the date because it was her mother's birthday. The fight was short. The last German defenders, mostly old men and boys, gave up in hours. Then occupation began. Jeeps moved through streets of broken houses. Soldiers set checkpoints. Military police registered people. Margaret hid in the bakery cellar for 3 days after the Americans came. Not from fear of attack, but from tiredness. She had nothing, no family, no home, no food. The cellar still smelled like flour and yeast, memories from another life. She lived on rainwater in a tin bucket and 3 potatoes hidden in ashes. On the 4th day, she climbed the stairs. Sunlight hurt her eyes. The square looked strange. Rubble pushed aside. American trucks lined the street. Soldiers worked with purpose, putting up tents, unloading boxes. Their voices, strange and loud, filled the air. She stood there, swaying a little. Her dress hung loose like cloth on a frame. Her hair, once full and dark, now thin and dry. In a broken window she saw her reflection. Sunken eyes, gray skin. A stranger. That's when she saw him. Sergeant William James Barker of the 69th Infantry Division, 3rd Army, 31 years old, from a small farm near Tulsa, Oklahoma. He landed at Utah Beach 11 months before and fought across France, through the Ardennes, over the Rhine. He had seen many ruined towns, but this woman in the square made him stop. She knelt in the rubble, digging slowly with bare hands, not wild, but careful, like a quiet ceremony. He watched her for a full minute, then walked over. "What are you looking for?" he asked in English. She looked up. Her pale blue eyes stood out in her thin face. She did not know the words, but she knew the gentle tone. She held up a mix of dust and grains, showed him, then let it fall through her fingers. William understood. He grew up on a farm during the Dust Bowl. He knew real hunger, the kind that makes people shadows. He reached into his pocket and took out a Ration chocolate bar. Standard Army issue, 4 ounces of hard chocolate, oats, and milk powder. Soldiers said it tasted like dirt. He held it out. Margaret stared at the chocolate. She had not seen real food in weeks. Her hands stayed still. This must be a trick. German propaganda said Americans were cruel, that occupation meant violence and stealing. Why would he give her food? David. William stepped closer, knelt in the rubble beside her. He unwrapped the bar, broke off a piece, ate it himself. "See," he said. "Safe." Then he offered the rest. Her hand moved on its own. She took it. It felt heavy, real. She put it to her mouth. The first taste made her eyes close. Sweet, rich, full of energy. Her body woke with sharp hunger. She chewed slowly, but her hands shook so much she almost dropped it. William watched her eat. He had 2 more rations in his pack. He gave them both. Then he stood, said something in English she did not understand, and went back to his jeep. She watched him leave, still holding the wrapper, not sure it was real. That evening in the mess tent, William told his friend Corporal Daniel Reeves about the woman. Danny grew up in Brooklyn, joined in 1942, survived Normandy and the Bulge. He was practical about life. "You gave her your rations," Danny said. It was not a question. "She was starving," William answered simply. "They're all starving. You can't feed everyone." "I know." But William could not forget her. Not just hunger in her eyes, but dignity too. She had been someone before the war broke. Her. He saw it in how she moved, how she searched the rubble carefully, like finding lost treasures. Next morning he went back to the square. She was there again, digging in the same place. He brought more rations. This time she took them without pause, and ate while he watched. He tried slow English, but she shook her head. A local interpreter helped, an older German man named Herr Schmidt, who spoke rough English. Through him, William learned her name, Margaret, teacher, family gone, alone. Herr Schmidt explained, thousands of German civilians had no food, no home, no way to live. Occupation forces gave basic rations at centers, but supplies were short, and everything was Quinland. Many people got nothing. Margaret was one. If his officers knew, he could face trouble. He started bringing her food every day, not just rations, but real army food, bread, eggs, sometimes soup in a thermos. He found her in the square, sat while she ate, then left. She gained weight slowly. Her face filled a little. Color came back, but more than her body, trust grew. By late May, she could walk farther than a few steps. One quiet afternoon, William showed her the American Supply Center. He introduced her to Red Cross workers, giving aid. He made sure she got registered for rations. He did it quietly, expecting nothing back. One evening, after walking her to the cellar, where she still slept, she spoke in slow English. Herr Schmidt had taught her simple words. "Why?" she asked. "Why do you help me?" William stayed quiet. Sun set behind ruins, turning everything gold and dark. He thought of his Oklahoma farm, his mother's kitchen, how she fed anyone who came during hard times. Travelers, neighbors who lost everything. His father complained about wasted food, but his Mo, there never stopped. "Refer. Because you needed help," he said finally. Simple, true. For Margaret, raised in a country that prized strength over kindness, those words felt new and powerful. June came warm. Occupation became routine. Germans started rebuilding. American soldiers waited for new orders. War in Europe ended, but Pacific War went on. William's unit would leave for France, maybe the Pacific. He had 3 weeks left in Torgau. He spent almost every free minute with Margaret. Their bond had no clear name. Not just friends, not lovers. Something deeper. She learned English fast. His German got better. They sat in the square, now partly cleared, and talked for hours. She told about teaching children, her family, how everything fell apart. He told about Oklahoma, growing wheat and cotton, storms crossing plains like trains. She asked once if he killed anyone. Straight, honest question. "Yes," he said, "no more." "Are you sorry?" "For stopping those who did this?" He pointed at ruined town. "No." "For having to do it?" "Yes." She understood. War forced impossible choices. Clear right and wrong was a luxury. Mid-June, something changed. William found Margaret at bakery ruins, sitting on old front step, staring. Tears ran down her face, not crying hard, just flowing, years of pain coming out. He sat beside her, silent. After a long time, she said in quiet English, "I have nothing, no family, no home. When you leave, I have nothing again. Words hit him strong. He tried not to think about leaving. About her alone again. He turned. Evening light made everything soft. Come with me, he said. She looked confused. When I leave, come to America with me. Crazy idea. Rules, laws, army rules. Enemy people could not just move. Fraternization frowned. On. Marriage between soldiers and Germans hard, sometimes impossible. But he meant it. How? She asked. I don't know yet, but I'll find a way. Next week, William asked everyone, chaplain, officers, Red Cross. Mixed week, William asked everyone. Answer same. Possible but hard. Forms, checks, time, months, maybe years. Marriage needed. He asked her to marry him June 20th, 1945 in bakery ruins. No ring, no big words. Just simple question. Margaret, will you marry me and come to Oklahoma? She said yes before he finished. Wedding quick through Army chaplain. Wedding quick through Army chaplain. Chaplain Robert Morrison from Michigan did many such weddings. He knew love grew in strange places in war, that survival and care mixed. Ceremony June 27th in small undamaged church, outside Torgau. Margaret wore Red Cross dress, William in dress uniform. Witnesses, Corporal Danny Reeves and Herr Schmidt. Chaplain spoke English, then German, then English. Do you take this man? Do you take this woman? They did. Signed papers after. William took her hands, face serious. You're mine now, he said in English. Herr Schmidt translated. In German it sounded different. Protective, not owning. Du gehörst jetzt mir. You belong to me now. Not property, but family. Someone to care for, protect, take home. Margaret understood. She was his to look after, and he was hers. In broken world, they built something. Paperwork started fast. Army moved slow, but chaplain and kind officers pushed it. Margaret registered as soldier's wife. Got temporary papers. Visa applied. Slow wheels turned. William's unit left early July. He went to France, then home. Margaret could not go yet. Visa took months. She waited in Germany, but now with papers, status, future. Last night together in square, where they met. Summer warm. Accordion played far away. Rebuilding moved on. Some houses fixed. Life returned slow. I'll send for you, William said. Soon as papers ready. Soon as you can come, I'll send. I'll wait, Margaret said. Her English good, now, light accent. Promise me you'll eat. Promise you'll stay strong. First, real smile he saw. I promise. He gave her all he could. Money, addresses, Red Cross, contacts, army help. Wrote instructions in English and German. Made sure food, ration cards, room in repaired boarding house. Morning unit left. She waited at convoy point. Same wedding dress. Hair pinned. Looked stronger, healthier, but eyes scared. They had 90 seconds. Sergeant allowed no more. William held her face, memorized her. I love you, he said. First time. She answered. I love you. Then he and truck. Convoy moved. She stood on road, hand raised, watched him fade in dust. Summer 1945 to autumn, to winter. Pacific War ended with atomic bombs. Soldiers went home, millions, but Margaret waited in Germany. Visa process hard lost forms, delayed interviews, checks, as German wife of American soldier, heavy review. Father's business guild membership questioned. Nazi support, complicated. Like most, he paid dues, went meetings, not eager. But papers saw compliance as support. Margaret lived in boarding house William arranged. Worked for American occupation as translator, clerk. English improved. Wrote William weekly. Long letters about days, paperwork, Oklahoma dreams. His letters came slow, irregular. But when they came, she read them many times, learnt every word. He described farm, wheat fields to horizon, red dirt roads, mother's kitchen with wood stove, checkered curtains, father doubtful but willing, sister excited for new sister-in-law. He sent photos. White farmhouse, wrap-around porch, big red barn, wheat on the wide sky. She kept them in tin box under bed, looked at night, studied this new home. Winter in Torgau hard, fuel short, food rationed. But Margaret survived. Stronger now. Girl who knelt in rubble gone. Woman who dealt with officials, talked to Americans and Soviets, refused to quit. Town rebuilt slow. Shops opened. Families returned. Life started again, weak but real. Cold War began. Soviets and Americans, war friends, peace rivals. Torgau near Elbe line. Tensions grew. Borders tighter. February 1946. 9 months after William left, letter came. Visa approved. She could go to United States. Travel by train to Bremerhaven. Ship to New York. Train to Oklahoma. She cried hard. Relief. Fear. Leaving. Finally. But leaving old life. Language. Culture. Landscape. Bakery ruins. Day before leaving, she visited bakery spot. Spring early. Flowers pushed through rubble. She knelt where William found her, where he gave chocolate, gave future without knowing. Hand on broken bricks. Goodbye, Papa. Goodbye, Mama. Goodbye, Klaus. I'm going to America. I'm going to live. March 1946. Ship crossed Atlantic in 12 days. Margaret sick most trip, but didn't mind. Moving towards something. Statue of Liberty like promise. Ellis Island processed her quick. Legal, Mrs. William Barker, permanent resident, to Oklahoma. Train New York to Tulsa, 3 days. America past windows, cities, farms, mountains, plains, everything. Big, sky wider than German sky, fields endless. William met her Tulsa station March 15th, 1946. 10 months since goodbye. Civilian clothes, thinner, older. But when she stepped off, his smile made him young again. They stood long, looking, making sure real. Then he crossed, held her tight. You made it, he whispered. You really made it. Tutkeim promised I'd wait, she said. I promised I'd stay strong. Drive to farm 1 hour. Rust-colored dirt roads, winter wheat greening, sky huge, blue. The farmhouse like photos, white, porch around, flowers by front, not blooming yet. William's mother Sarah waited on porch, 60, gray hair back, apron with flower. Looked at Margaret practical, then smiled. Welcome home, Pong. Word felt strange and right. Father James reserved, nodded, shook hand. Ma'am. Skeptical. Not mean. German woman, ex-enemy, now family. Needed time. Sister Alice, 17. Curious. Never met European. Asked questions about Germany, war, everything. Margaret answered careful, made trauma simple for teen. First evening, Sarah cooked. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, cornbread. Margaret at table with family. Felt too much. Not fear, but plenty. So much food, space, safety. William took her hand under table. You okay? Yes, she said. Yes, I am okay. Late night, in their room, she cried. William held her while sobs came not sad, released. Weight of survival lifted, first year hard. Language barrier. Oklahoma English different, accent hard, sayings, strange, culture. Shock, Americans loud, friendly, direct, no personal space like Germans. Worst was suspicion, 1946, war fresh, Americans lost sons in Europe. Anti-German feeling strong. When town learned William married German, reactions mixed. Curious to angry, woman at feed store refused serve. Called her Nazi. Margaret froze. William's face hard. Sarah stepped in. "This is my daughter-in-law," Sarah said calm. "Family. Treat her respect, or we go elsewhere." They left, but it hurt Margaret. That night she asked William if he regretted. "Never," he said strong, "not 1 second." Suspicion went on. Whispers. Some kind, some cold. Astor asked about faith, politics, past. Pacified James polite, distant. Margaret worked to become American, studied English hours daily, learned Southern cooking, church every Sunday, strange, emotional, compared to quiet Lutheran ways, volunteered events, tried hard to fit. Sarah helped, survived depression, fed strangers, knew compassion needed, taught canning, biscuits, Oklahoma speech to hide German accent. "Why help me?" Margaret asked one day, shelling peas on porch. Sarah quiet. "You're my son's wife. You make him happy. War over. Grudges don't bring dead back. Pause, and I see how hard you try." Summer Margaret pregnant. News changed family. James attentive. Grandchild coming, German or not. His blood. Pregnancy tough. Sickness long. Oklahoma heat bad. But she endured. Building life, family. William farmed dawn to dark. Harvest, planting, fixes. Father teaching business slow. Nights, tired, sat porch, hand on her belly, talked future. "What name him?" he asked. "How no, boy?" "Just feel." Settled James after father, Friedrich Middle after hers. Bridge worlds. James Friedrich Barker, born February 1947. Ice storm, roads blocked. Doctor couldn't come. Sarah delivered. Margaret screamed German. Sarah calm English. William paced kitchen, scared, until cry. Entered room, Sarah gave son. Small, red, perfect. William looked at Margaret tired, glowing. Felt right. This family. What war for? James held grandson, cried. First time William saw father cry. Skepticism gone. Grandchild. Nothing else mattered. Years passed like wheat. Slow, steady, seasons of good and hard. Margaret, fluent, English, accent soft, charming, learned small-town life, church group, school help, pies for events. People accepted slow, not all but, enough friends for life beyond farms, for life beyond farm. No longer German war bride. Mrs. Barker, William's wife. James's mother, 3 more children. Elizabeth 1949, Thomas 1952, Sarah 1955. House full noise, life. Margaret taught kids German, but they spoke English. American fully, she made sure. William grew farm, bought land, new machines. Post-war boom. Wheat prices good. Farm did well. Added plumbing, TV, phone. Modern came slow. Quiet evenings, kids asleep. Sat porch, thought Torgau, square, rubble, parents. Brother Stalingrad, starving girl, man gave chocolate. William found her sometimes, lost in past. You okay? Remembering. Good or bad? Both. 1955. 10 years after war. Letter from Germany. Herr Schmidt. Wedding witness. Torgau rebuilt. Bakery gone. New buildings. Photos enclosed. Margaret looked long. Town strange. Changed. People dead or gone. Past really over or gone. Past really over. Evening put photos in tin box with William's 1945 letters. Ones kept her going. Promised future. William found her with box. You don't talk much about it. War. What happened you? What say? Happened. Over for you. Not really. Long quiet. No. Never over. But not over for you. Not really. Long quiet. No, never over. But I learned carry it. Told children soft versions. James asked funny accent. She said from Germany. Elizabeth asked war. She said yes, not soldier way. Thomas asked scared. She said yes, always. Thomas asked scared. She said yes, always. Never hunger, collapse, rubble, grain search, chocolate, survival offer. Some stories too heavy. 1985, 40 years after war. Margaret 63, William 71. Children grown, grandkids ran farmhouse. Farm to James, ran steady like father. William health failing. Heart. Doctor said maybe 5 years less. Tired from full hard life. Spring evening on porch. William said, "We should go back." Margaret looked. Back where? Germany. Torgau. See again. Quiet. 40 years no return. Germany past. Oklahoma home. But William serious. Offering closure, proof leaving right. Flew Berlin Joan. Train East Germany. Cold War divided. Torgau Iron Curtain side. Needed papers. Approval escorts. Managed. Town strange. Rebuilt Soviet style. Plain. Concrete. Bakery gone. Apartment block there. Square paved. Church, now cultural center. Felt nothing. No pain. No wish. Just old knowing place once important. Found bakery spot. Stood long. William held hand. Silent. Old woman came, watched from street. Spoke German. Margaret answered. Talked minutes. Talked minutes. Talked. Talked minutes. Woman face changed. You Margaret Fisher, teacher. Margaret remembered. Small girl braids. Trouble reading. Now old gray. Tired eyes. Greta Hoffman. What happened you? I went America. Married America. Soldier. Four children. Grandmother now. Greta stared. You survived. Yes. Talk tower. Greta told town. Deaths. Stays. Leaves. Soviet time. Rebuild. Hard years. Goodbye. Greta hugged. Right leave. Nothing here anyone. Evening East Berlin hotel. Margaret window. City divided. William slept. Thought 40 years. Girl she was. Woman now. Hunger. Chocolate. Rubble. Wheat. Death. Children. Life. William saved her. True. But she saved, self-trusted, started over, became new. You're mine now 40 years ago. Right, belonged each other. Found in broken world, built good. William died 1989-75. Heart failure, quick, not much pain. Margaret with him. Children around. Died farm-born, wheat fields, Oklahoma sky. Margaret lived 16 more years. Died 2005. 83, same farmhouse. Children, grandkids there. Spring, wheat greening. Obituary short. Margaret Barker, loved wife, mother, grandmother, survive. Ed by 4 children, 12 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. Preceded by husband William, Services First Baptist. Donations Food Bank, no flowers. No German, no war. No American soldier chocolate. Know you're mine now. But children knew. Grandchildren knew. Told at funeral. Not full dark parts, main truth. Lost. Found. Built life together. Small story in big war history. Millions died. Suffered. Lost homes. But in destruction, 2 people found each other. Chose kindness over hate. Choice lasted decades. Children. Grandchildren. Wheat. Storms. Normal life made special by start. Torgau bakery gone. Square paved. Oklahoma farmhouse stands. Great-grandchildren live. Never knew war. But story lives. Proof. Even darkest times, one kind act changes everything. William saw starving woman, gave food. Margaret took help from enemy. That start. All else followed. "You're mine now," he said. Right. She his, he hers. Together built worth remembering.